back. We move into the next part of the session, which is the output devices. Output devices is basically the type of components, alright, or the hardware that allows the computer to what to say over here, to provide you with the feedback or to display the result from whatever input that you have commanded the computer to do. So over here I have 4 different output devices. We can see the first one is obviously the monitor. Monitor is basically used to display whatever informations that the computer process, right? What I want to highlight over here is basically nothing much. It's basically just an output devices, but let me just highlight to you different evolutions that the output this monitor have gone through. We can say that those days during my generations, we used to use the tube, right? The vacuum tube kind of monitor. Vacuum tube kind of monitor, which is the bulky one, the big size, something like this. You will no longer see this kind of computer anymore, this kind of monitor anymore. I think you should have known this one. It's used the vacuum tube to project the information, or the whatever task that we command the computer to do. Afterwards, we have the LCD kind of monitor, which is the liquid crystal display. It is basically better than the vacuum tube because it is much more slimmer, right? This is where the revolution, right, of the technology came into place. Then we got the LED, which is the light emitting diode. This one focus more on energy efficiency. And we have the OLED, which is the high definition, right? Actually organic light emitting diode, right? It actually focus more on HD quality, all right? The quality increase, basically the projections of the quality of display, right? This one is display. Becoming better, all right? Then of course we have different types of OLED. We got different types of monitors, different size. We have the one that is curved. We got the one that is vertical display. We have pretty much different sizes of display. And these are all the outputs. These are all the examples, or the the point that I want to highlight on this monitor. Next we have the printer, is another example of output devices. Printer, those days you use what's printer is to print the data that we want, right? Instead of display it on the monitor, instead of display it as a digitally, all right, digitally display, sometimes you want a physical copy. So in order for us to have a physical copy, we'll have the printer to print out the physical copy of the documents. Alright, it's another type of output devices from the computer. So printer itself has different types of printer. In a simple example, or in a simple discussion, we have I like to group them into two. One which is the ink, right? Ink type of printer, and another one which is the laser printer. Yeah, basically that's about printer. Nothing much we can talk about this. Over here we have another example of output devices, which is the speakers. All right, speakers, basically it allows the computer to produce the output sound. All right, nothing much I can talk about that. In accounting, speakers, basically when we hit some errors on the system, then we can hear that there's an error sound. So that's example of usefulness of speaker in the accounting role or accounting field. Finally, we have this one over here. Projector. All right, projectors is another form of output devices. So instead of projecting your display through the monitor, which sometimes is limited view, all right, you have a limited viewing angle. You can only address maybe a maximum of 5%. You cannot display out to like maybe hundreds of persons. Then you need to use the projector. All right, in terms of projector, basically it's useful for the more, this one is more or I'll just here put larger group of audience. Okay, of course we can talk about different types of projectors. Those days projectors have a more, I would say, have a more limited limited ways or limited projections. All right, in terms of maybe the color, the quality. So it goes back over here. I like to highlight, goes back over to here. Quality of the display became better when the evolves. All right, when the projector evolves. All right, that's pretty much on the output device. Let us move into the emerging input or output devices. Over here I like to highlight only two. Of course, we have more in the example kits, in the study kit, but over here I like to highlight two. First one is the straight away I like to move into the accounting field. One of the thing is the fingerprint or the biometric recognition. All right, this is an example of input devices where we can actually input the data to the computer. Example over here is when we want to record attendance, work time, work attendance, or work hour. All right, when you want to record a work hour, you can use a fingerprint sensor, print scanner. Then we have another example over here, which is the QR scanner. So allow this for another type of input. So we got also the VR, which is the output for emerging tag. All right, these are different example. Emerging means they are new, right? Simple as that. VR is another example of this one. You can see it goes from here, and then maybe now it move into the third, which is the VR. Right, we can see the input devices. Last time we got only maybe this one, and then it moves up into 2 scanner, and number 3 just scan the barcode with the touch screen. Then now it moves up to number 4, which is also include the QR scanner. All right, that's it pretty much. The input and output and the emerging tag that you emerging tag on the input and the output. Now move into the last part of today's lecture. So we can see over here what is the relevance or the role of input or output devices in accounting. Nonsense, right? These are very clear. It is straight to the point. You can see that keyboard helps you to input the data entry, mouse helps you to navigate around the system, the monitor allows you to see or show the display whatever kind of output from the computer to you. So they are very straight to the point kind of a thing that you can see and experience it by yourself. So that's the main or the kind of image that I want to share with you. Illustrate, that's the type of illustrations that I would like to share with you. So in the final part over here, let us look into 4 different points, right, that I have come up with. The role of these input and output devices, rather than those kind of wagyu kind of illustration that I put. So in concluding over here, all right, you can say that the first, of course, it allows you to, the role of input and output devices, right, the evolution, right, the evolution. The first one, it allows you to speed up your work, right? Speed up your work with, let me just put over here, right, relevance and role of input. Maybe I put emerging or newer input or output devices. What are the role or relevance of having new devices? First of all, obviously it increase your productivity, it increase up your speed. Last time you need to input the data one by one, but now you can just scan, maybe then convert it using the optical recognition. So it will recognize the words, so it just allows you to automate the process, which is the second one, automate. So it's speed up your process, then it allows you to automate. So last time you have to manually enter the barcodes, but now you can just simply scan it. With much more later version or innovation, during the payment, last time you use a card, use cash, you need to input into the system, you use the card, you need to input to the system. But now you can use the QR code straight away. The person that paying can straight away scan the QR code and pay straight away to directly to your account with less interaction or interventions. So it actually automate the process or make it faster. Another point over here is it allows you to visualize, all right, with a more evolving tag of input and output. We are better in terms of the visualization. Visualizations. Better visualizations, we will have more sharp images, we'll have more sharp graphs or analysis. And finally is the mobility. With emerging or newer input and output devices, you can actually carry it elsewhere. You can carry the projector now is a smaller size, right, smaller. These devices is becoming more smaller and then more powerful, right? More powerful is the CPU, but when it became smaller, more compact, right, more compact for us to bring it around to wherever we want to go. So that's it. This is the end of the lecture. The takeaway: that I'd like to highlight is, number one, input and output. Basically, input is for us to interact with the system, and output is the result that we want to command the system to do, right? Then we have the two emerging, input and output. We look at different devices that are emerging that is relevant to the accounting field. Then finally, we talk about the role or the relevance of such thing in our accounting field. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the lecture. So meet you all next week physically in the class. Until then, see you and goodbye.